So what is going on, everybody? I hope you're all having a great weekend. This week, to be honest, has been kind of a little bit low-key. A few things have come up, which I mentioned on previous posts here in Patreon. I'll just kind of run through my list here. But the first thing, which, something really, really odd happened this week. And I still don't quite understand it. I know there's always, a possibility of something like this happening. But for those that didn't see this, on Monday, this past Monday, my youngest daughter went in for her last round of vaccinations, and one of those vaccinations was for chickenpox. Just because I've never had it. I mean, I've had the shot like 20 years ago, but I've never actually had chickenpox, and I didn't want that crap coming home. So I got that taken care of 20 years ago, and I didn't want my girls to go through that because that's just like one of those things that it just sounds horrible, for at least from what I've heard. It sounds absolutely horrible. So, doing our best, trying to make sure that, try and protect our little girls. And so she went in for the vaccination, and lo and behold, this stupid vaccination gave her chickenpox. I guess I don't quite understand how that works. I mean, my understanding, again, I'm no doctor, but my understanding is that basically vaccinations are like a dead culture of whatever it is you're trying to vaccinate them against from. And, well, evidently there's something in there that was still kicking. So, poor thing. So she came down with chickenpox on she had the shot on Monday? So she came down Wednesday is when we noticed it. And she was a little bit bummed. I mean, other than being uncomfortable, she's a little bit bummed because she was supposed to go test. Both her and my oldest daughter were supposed to go test for their next belt levels in Taekwondo. Well, obviously, if she has chickenpox, we're not supposed to be taking her out of the house because that's just kind of a dick thing to do to other kids. So she's been basically housebound. She's getting a little stir-crazy, but overall, she's doing fine. I mean, and the chickenpox, it's not a full-blown thing that she got. It's a little odd. It's just like little patches, kind of here and there all around her arm and across her back, but it's not like head to toe, horrible like that, but it's just, it looks kind of icky. But anyways, so she wasn't able to go test at all. But my oldest did, and she passed. So she is now a blue belt, which is pretty cool. Very proud of her. And I'll see if I can maybe throw in just a quick little picture here. I mean, it's not really all that entertaining unless you're the parent, to see a 9-year-old kind of going through the motions and doing everything. I mean, she's still 9. It's not like she's ready to walk out and kick some ass, but she's doing good. Like I said, very proud of her. Now, so that's enough of that. I'm not going to beat that one down. So getting back to, kind of boat relating stuff. Now, this last video, the one that I just put out, I believe this was just yesterday, is when I was able to get it out on Patreon here. A couple things I want to talk about here. One was a question that someone brought up. But the other thing I just want to talk a little bit more about is that friggin' router in that bit. Now, I think the camera was able to pick this up pretty well, and I tried my best to try and get it into the video. But when I was doing the trimming around these inserts here, I was hogging off on certain areas over a ½ an inch of material. So glass top and bottom as well as the CUSA. It just plowed right through that. I mean, pretty impressive. I thought I was going to have to come in and kind of shave a little bit at a time. Plowed right through a ½ inch material, and when you're looking over the video, because I was able to have that little bottom insert on the bottom of the router, I didn't see a single speck of dust at all. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive. So I don't know if you're in the market for anything like that. And again, it doesn't make any difference to me. I benefit in no way. So I'm not trying to give a sales pitch here. But if you are in the market for a router, I mean, yes, it is a little bit pricey, but I am sold on this thing. I mean, you get what you pay for. But if you're in the market for a router, highly, highly recommend it. I suspect it'd probably be the last router that you ever buy. Now, related to that, okay, so a question someone brought up. They were questioning about the weep holes that I had kind of carved into the bottom of these, I guess, fore and aft inserts here. And and granted, it does look like I glassed them over, but they kind of raised the question of, well, why did you cut the inserts out just to glass them over? And in reality, I didn't glass them over. It's kind of hard to pick up on that, but I'll go in here in a minute with I guess, a zoom up so you can kind of see what I did. But basically, I left the glass shy of the weep hole in those three directions. So basically going port to starboard, fore and aft, as well as going vertical up on those panels. So I left that all wide open. And the other question was, well, where's the water going to drain to? And I haven't gotten that far yet. But what I'm anticipating doing, and again, I'll show you here on the zoom in. But what I'm anticipating, well, I'll just do it right now. So coming in here, so you can see here's the weep hole, and maybe I did kind of, so it's still open. I'll have to hog it out and open it up a little bit, but it's still open. So I just kept the glass shy when I was laying this piece, and this piece. Now my overall plan for how this is going to drain, because this is the center section. Now I don't want to have a wet floor down in here all the time, so there's a little bit of a camber across this, so any water that does come in here, it's going to naturally shed towards the sides. So what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to put in basically a drain scupper right here in each corner, so that any water that does drain out from these lockers essentially isn't going to be able to get tracked forward. It's just going to kind of flow out and then go right down into the bilge. So then the next vid, which is going to be coming out next week, as long as I've got good access inside these lockers, I think that's going to be easiest time for me to do some sanding and some fairing. So that's going to be what's going to be coming up in the next video. That fairing tends to be a little bit time consuming, and like I said, it's going to be a lot easier to do it now than after I get some kind of a lid or a top on and make that, my access smaller. So that's what's going to be coming up within this next week. And that's probably going to be, again, I'm looking at probably a Wednesday or Thursday having that wrapped up for you. So keep an eye out for that. And on that, again, like I said, this has been kind of a low-key week. I've got some company coming up tonight, which is kind of good. It's my nephew, which I haven't seen him in like a year and a half, even though he only lives like 60 miles from here. But so he's coming up in about an hour and a half here, and he's going to be staying with us tonight. So he, to kind of send him, again, he's young. He's kind of like a young college kid kind of age. So he doesn't have a whole lot. So when knowing that he's going to be coming up, I picked up it's like a 10-pound pork butt or pork shoulder, whatever you want to call it. And so I got that going in the smoker at about 5 o'clock this morning. I had it all seasoned up last night, threw it in, and I actually flipped the switch 5 o'clock this morning. So that'll be done here probably about 4 or 5, and then I'm gonna let it rest in the cooler for a couple hours. Plan is to hopefully be able to eat by 7. So because it's 10 pounds, there's no way we're gonna eat it. So I'm gonna send him home with 5 or 6, 7 pounds worth in little individual servings, and then he can throw them in the freezer, and then whenever he's hungry, he can just pull out a thing, and he's got a pretty good dinner. So hopefully it all works out. I haven't tasted it yet. I just pulled it out and wrapped it. It had a beautiful bark on it. Oh man, it smelled good. It sure looked good, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to taste good, but it should. Only the second time I've done that. But anyways, I'm kind of rambling, getting off topic here. So anyway, I just want to say again, wrapping things up, have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you again coming up later next week. And until then, again, have a great weekend. As always, thank you for everything, and I'll see you then.